Now, the big thing that I really like about Jon and Dave as of late with the Mandoverse and exactly how they're really hyping up the fans is that they are keeping the community in the loop about their intentions, their ambitions, their goals in the Star Wars franchise, and where it's really all heading throughout this year and beyond to really kind of set up this massive franchise that's going to be ever evolving and really all the more expansive by the time they get to these big time announcements at Celebration this year, D23 later this year, and even more events that will take place in 2024 as well. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about the Disney Star Wars universe is that we already know that Bob Iger is in a bit of a shakeup with the board members. We already talked about this multiple times, but everything related to Jon and Dave, they are on a roll when it comes to all of the new Star Wars projects that are currently in development and exactly what's happening with each and every one of those stories. Now, we know that Jon and Dave have been heavily promoting The Mandalorian Season 3, the Ahsoka Tano series, and a little bit of Mando Season 4, and given that we have George Lucas really working very closely with Jon and Dave on where the future is heading for Star Wars and exactly how it's going to really lend itself to the fans in a more respectful manner. Now, the thing about all of this that I think a lot of fans need to be very well aware of is that Jon has stated multiple times that his goal in life right now is to turn Star Wars around for the better and to make it even all the more successful than it ever was in the past. Even before when Disney took over, he wants to make it that successful. So with that being said, with both Favreau and Filoni getting prepared to make some big announcements to the fandom, it's noted that as of right now, Jon Favreau is working on multiple revelations in the Mandoverse and also in other upcoming Star Wars projects. Now, in a recent interview, Favreau went on to state the following to the fans about how much of an impact his revelations will have on the community. He stated the following: "Myself, Dave, and George have been talking over everything and our plans, our twists and turns, for Mando Season 4, we're very lucky to come up with a big, unexpected revelation that even George told us is going to blow fans away. It is absolutely going to destroy the internet when this goes public by the time we get this season out. Of course, in a good way, haha. We firmly believe fans are going to go nuts over what we have planned for what we like to call the biggest revelation in pop culture, at least in the past 20 years. So let me stop right here. The fact that George is saying that this revelation is going to blow fans away, how Jon Favreau is saying that this big time revelation in Mandalorian Season 4 is going to destroy the internet in a good way. It's going to be that big of an impact on the media, on the message boards, whatever you want to call it, on the internet, or just, all these different sites on social media and such. Jon Favreau is putting it out there that it's going to be that big of a deal that's going to make it a footprint in pop culture for the past 20 years, and one of the biggest revelations in history, not just for Star Wars, but in history. I think that's very enthusiastic. Is it over-enthusiastic is the biggest question of all. I know some fans out there are really gonna not take this right away as concrete, but when you look at Jon Favreau, this guy's a very honest, opinionated guy, very passionate guy. He would never over-exaggerate anything like that. And if he did, and it did not meet expectations, I think that would look really bad on him, so I'm sure that Favreau knows better. So the fact that he's putting this out there and making it public that this is really going to make a footprint in pop culture as one of the biggest revelations in the past 20 years. That's a big deal, guys, and it really makes you wonder, what in the world did Jon, George, and Dave develop together? What did they do? Now, we already know that it does involve Grogu, and he touches on this in a second. We're going to go over that in a minute. The fact that it is something big to do with Grogu and how it does impact other famous and very well-known characters in the Star Wars franchise is also something to really think about here. Because obviously, he's saying fans are going to go nuts and just wild over this. Moving on. He goes on to elaborate. It was a work in progress for years between myself, Dave, and George, and it's very reassuring for me at least that even George felt the same way of how this is going to impact the internet, the community, and just pop culture in general. Our revelation has something substantial to do with Grogu and the Skywalkers and how it deeply impacts all 9 films across the board. That's really as much as I can reveal right now, other than the fact that no fans have ever guessed what we are putting together. At least from what we read on the internet and such. We are going to tease what we have in store in Season 3, just a small tease of what's to come for Season 4. Now guys, about Season 4, Jon Favreau talked about this, that his plan is to stop the series at Season 4 unless things prove to be wildly successful with the 4th season. Then his plans are to stop everything at a Season 6, kind of following that Cobra Kai route. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Cobra Kai is ending with the 6th season on Netflix. So this, in particular, raises a lot of questions. What in the world is John, George, and Dave doing with Grogu, the Skywalkers, and this revelation in general? What is it doing? You know, what really does it entail? Now, the fact that it has not crossed, apparently, from what they have read, any fans' minds, and that nobody's guesses have even matched up, goes to show you that whatever they're creating is extremely original and unexpected that nobody else could really think about. And it really just drives you crazy in a good way. It kind of makes you excited about what's in store. And I like this way of marketing. I like how John and Dave are hyping up the fans and really kind of just keeping things very mysterious. So, Mando 4, guys, we're not going to see this for probably a long time. We're looking at holiday season of 2024. If not, if they do run into some complications, you know, some reshoots here and there, you might not even see it until March of 2025, kind of what happened to Season 3, by the way. Season 3 didn't have reshoots, but what they did have was additional shooting to lengthen the overall episodes of each, you know, or should I say, lengthen each episode of the entire series is what they did. It's still 8 episodes, it's not 12 episodes or anything like that, but they did lengthen each and every episode. That's what the additional filming was for. They wanted to get this thing out by the end of 2022, didn't happen. Instead, they are putting it out on March 1st, and that's why. We could face a similar situation with expecting this for 2024, and then it just arriving in 25. It all really does depend on all these variables, right? So, anyways, guys, with that being said, fill me in on what you guys have to say about all this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.